I hope using this project is a very good start to build a very long-lasting relationship together because it's more intimate if you meet each other. That's the whole point of me. I'm very OG in the Bitcoin space. I'm very OG in the NFT space. So for the past 2-3 years, I've been dealing with a lot of crypto projects.
If you guys all want to be in this project, it's best time to get in. This is it. This is the way to do it, and let's have our Bitcoin lifestyle right in global, guys. Pause!
Business is all about trend and opportunity. I believe in these 2-3 years, the Bitcoin hype, it will help us scale our community even faster than ever.
今天比特币绝对是今年最好的一个赛道，所以呢，今天 MINERX 用最低的成本来赚到最有价值的黄金。
我们要相信厉害的人，相信有成果的人。
欢迎大家来到 MINERX 现场，让我们共同见证 LG 巨神艇与矿贝的合作。
MINEX 矿贝是怎样跟传统挖矿一起强强联手的呢？我们不需要去购买加速器，我们只是需要租就可以获得我们相应的比特币的回报。
AOG 项目方呢，我们之所以会选择普吉岛 BTC Space 成为我们第一个数据中心，是因为这里是隶属泰国政府的区块链中心。这里不只是泰国政府的区块链中心，它本身也是帮助泰国政府孵化跟发行泰国本身的代币的一个地方。我们一定要选对一条路，因为我相信我们好好的布局2年，我相信没有人会瞧不起你。
MINER X will be doing the software and the hardware upgradings and updates. These will be continuous, these will be ongoing, but these will never affect the contracts that exist between AOG and investors. 我希望我过去20年的经验，可以带领所有右币社区的家人们，冲出整个东南亚。我们右币社区会为我们所有的社区、所有的家人们选对赛道，规划你们接下来要怎么样去发展市场。
当这2点都做得到的时候呢，我们的这个收益自然会提高很多。
今天，我们就随着我们社区脚步，一起站在未来看现在，我们一起在未来拿到我们大家想要的结果喽。
So right now within this room, we actually have 3,000 pieces. Alright, 3,000 pieces running. So I think next month onwards, so behind the room, we are going to sell another room as well. So right now you're looking at this room itself is 3,000 pieces. So as you know that from our presentation, you know that one booster we can actually support up to 20 or 25 mining machines. So right now we're actually supporting to what we call it the Bitcoin miners. Okay, the Bitcoin miners. And the big miners for big good and big man total up to 100,000. So big man itself in what was it called in Laos, they actually have more than 1 million mining machines. Okay, so this is actually telling you that originally for Bitcoin miners, okay, what's the daily income, what's the daily electricity is going to cost for them. Okay, so with us, this booster, one booster we can support up to 20 pieces. So you actually lower down the power, okay, higher efficiency. Okay, it's very straightforward. So what we do is this room actually we put it off and we online link back the data to the mining machines. So they actually give you the higher rate, which is what Trev actually explained to you. So you don't physically need to be there. So we put it here because like we said, we actually locally partner with FinStable. So FinStable actually local partner with the Thai government. Okay, so this is actually telling you big man how many mining we are supporting. Be good, which is the one we mentioned in Dallas, Texas. Okay, so this is telling that what happened to this room. So basically it's up to 3,000. Now this the 1,000 is still on standby mode. So each of the booster come with their own serial number. Okay, with all their serial number. So they will know which one is working, which one is not working. They'll come on notification in the same time. So when the booster is disconnected, there's 3 parties going to receive what we call it, notification. This room, in your phone, okay, your CRM, okay, your right arm back end, and the other one is our main HQ. So they need to solve it immediately to avoid your passive income. Okay?
Okay.
Alright, so I will pass it to TC.
There's a government behind it, so at least it feels safe. It allows a community to recover. I want to look at it in that way. So like I said, if you're just an investor, then thank you very much, because I'm not here to share about how you invest your portfolio or diversify your portfolio, but I'm here to build networkers who would like to have a product at this current point and able to reconjure all their network to one particular project for them to heal at least. Because a lot of networks out there have been hurt by a lot of Ponzi, a lot of scams, a lot of, you know, so these are some things that is already happening for the last 2-3 years. So a lot of networkers, a lot of big time leaders previously have this issue right now that they cannot conjure their members because a lot of projects are very intangible right now. And it all sounds the same, probably 15%, 20%, 30% ROI, even some do 100% ROI a month. Okay, so it's very intangible. Hence why I want to use MINERX to conjure all these community leaders together to use MINERX to heal. So at least you understand the technology, your investors can see it, your team leaders can build with it. And then that's how when after these 2 years, when the Bitcoin hype is over, the bull run's over, at least your community has cash flow. The biggest problem right now with a lot of network leaders right now is they have people, but their people have no cash flow. So and too many products out there that they cannot see. I mean, native user can never understand what you're doing. Too Web3 or either too blockchain, too decentralized. But right now, MINERX is a more, I would say, traditional industry because they're tapping into mining. Mining has been around since 2012, 2010, You know, people bought pizza with Bitcoin, and you do not need to educate them what is Bitcoin. They may not trade Bitcoin like me.
Okay, good afternoon, good evening, good morning. My name is Trev. My title is Business Development Director for AOG and MINERX. We will now be going through very briefly this presentation, starting off with the investment thesis, which is Bitcoin. We will introduce Right Arms Project, the co-founders and the history, the track record. We will talk about MINERX itself, the technology, and then wrap up with all the financials. So, as many of you may be aware, Bitcoin started back in late 2008, early 2009, when the first Bitcoin was mined. It is and continues to be the only global currency not controlled by any state or government. It is recognized by about 120 countries today in some way, shape, or form. And soon, 20+% of the world's GDP will be stored using blockchain technology. Okay, so you can see that it does have oftentimes an inverse relationship to most other asset classes, including the stock market. We are one of the thousands of projects that continue to build infrastructure around Bitcoin itself, specifically upstream at mining, both hardware and software with MINERX. And then you can see that even on just one exchange, Binance, over 100 million people are buying and selling Bitcoin and crypto every month. Okay. And this slide is just letting you know, of course, that there's analysts, there's full-time analysts, there's exchange-traded funds by the dozens, if not 100+ indices or ticker symbols that are covering Bitcoin or a basket of currencies, including Bitcoin and Ethereum. You can see that Tesla, Grab, Ferrari, there's thousands of companies that are using it to receive payments, such as if you want to buy a Ferrari. And then on the other end, there's a lot of companies that are paying out employees as well using crypto. And then you can see on the bottom corner there, El Salvador has made it legal tender. And then it's been, as of about a month ago, a legal precedent through a court ruling in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, to basically deem that crypto paying employees, if the employee has asked or the employee and employer have agreed in contract terms to be paid in crypto or Bitcoin specifically, that shall be honored. Okay, so it has legal precedent. So Bitcoin is here to stay. That is what we're trying to say here. Now, on this slide, it's basically just letting you guys know, as you can see here, hopefully, since 2008, 2009, the very beginning, there was the first 4-year cycle up through November of 2013 in the orange line on the left, then a 48-month cycle all the way to December of 17, as you see in the middle, that red line, and then a 48-month cycle until December of 21, as you see on that dark blue line, and then we're assuming within about a 1 month, give or take, by December of 25 next year, or maybe January of 26, there's going to be another market peak. You see there's a new floor that's established after the market peak. And as you can see from the market maximum, there's probably a 5x, 6x minimum every market cycle. So the assumption is, again, there's an assumption here, is that the next market bull run that we're entering, Bitcoin could really go to 300K with these historical tendencies in place. Now, wrapping up our investment thesis, you guys can see here, of course, Bitcoin reached number 7 a few months back. So it's still in the top 10 as a standalone asset class. It's nipping at the heels of NVIDIA, Apple, and Microsoft. If Bitcoin were to double in price, it would surpass Microsoft, Apple, and NVIDIA to be number 2, and then it would just have to take out gold. But gold is certainly by far not only the oldest asset class really on planet Earth, but the largest asset class. So the market cap now with the current bull, the gold rally is maybe north of 16 trillion. So Bitcoin will need to certainly do a 5x, 6x to match gold during this next cycle. But we shall see how that plays out, which will be number 1, gold or the new digital gold. Okay. Now, with that being established, we've already done with our introduction, the investment thesis, which is just Bitcoin itself. So now let's focus on Right Arms Project. So Right Arms Project is a world-class gaming community. It was founded back in 2018. It's always been focused on Web3, either games, GameFis, NFTs. During the pandemic, there was a lot of NFT, very popular, as well as decentralized exchanges, decentralized finance, DeFi, as they call it. So Right Arms continues to be focused on blockchain and Web3 in general, that general industry. And then, as you see in the middle, it says DAO community. DAO stands for Decentralized Autonomous Organization. So most of the tokens and a lot of the top tokens or projects in Web3 are run as a DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization. So Right Arms also tries to capture that same spirit with large stakeholders in the community, large sales leaders, large team leaders, country leaders, having a way to cast their vote and guide Right Arms to follow on projects, as we will make clear in just a second. Now, specifically, yours truly here focused on Asia the last 12 plus years. In business, as you see, since 2017, focusing on a lot of crypto projects, either casinos, online gaming, video games, mostly video games, some other projects focused on legal, etc. And then, as you see in the middle here, focused on some blockchain fundraisers on the private equity and venture capital side. And then just some general equity fundraisers as well. And then, as you see at the bottom here, everything that's happened the last year and a half or 2 years for the Assembly of Gods project has been really quite amazing to see, dealing with network marketing, dealing with retail investors, whether it's Vietnam, China, etc. So the capital injection that I've been helping facilitate, or at least mobilize investors, has really been unprecedented. So the project is doing quite well when it comes to getting retail investors excited about what's happening. So now, most important, hopefully, for people to understand is Dr. Jeffrey himself is the co-founder of Right Arms. Dr. Jeffrey has a finance technology PhD from Harvard University. Dr. Jeffrey has 10 plus years of network marketing experience, over a decade now. And then, as you see, AIQ limited shareholder, took that stock these last 2 years on the London Stock Exchange main board, and that stock did a 2000x. So that's a case study on the public equity side of Dr. Jeffrey really having the Midas touch, if you will. So that stock went from 0.08 to over 145. That's a 2000x. Now, Right Arms was started back in 2018. So in the middle here, you see Uniswap. And so Dr. Jeffrey basically was acting on some good sort of instincts and counsel to embrace Uniswap back in 2018, long before people were really aware of what Uniswap would become as a decentralized exchange. So Dr. Jeffrey not only was Asia Pacific main distributor, but eventually grew into the role of a community master or holder. And today, this still represents over 30+% of Ethereum assets in the Uniswap liquidity pool. Now, Dr. Jeffrey has led and managed millions of people across many countries, many communities, many countries. Even before Right Arms back in 2018. And Dr. Jeffrey has been dealing with NFTs for quite a long time as well. NFTs had a very impressive run during the pandemic. And then also on the government relations side, it would be remiss of us to also mention that the immediate past Prime Minister of Australia, the Honorable Scott Morrison, Dr. Jeffrey, is a blockchain advisor to him both then and now. And then in addition to other members of parliament sitting in Canberra, Dr. Jeffrey continues to be a blockchain advisor in addition to other great advice from the blockchain angle. And then, as we've mentioned at the top, co-founder, and then Dr. Jeffrey likes to stress, if you guys want to get more details, he can elaborate further, but he has indeed helped at least 100,000 individual community leaders or country leaders or team leaders, sales leaders, if you will, to achieve $1 million lifestyles. And I can attest to that, having been dealing with a lot of the investors here in East Asia for about a year and a half now. Really some impressive results on the individual sales level. And this gentleman is assisting everybody on the Right Arms side quite closely. He's been working with Right Arms for many, many years, but is mostly focused on mainland China, certainly with MINERX these last few months since the MINERX launch. So he's super busy in China. And this gentleman is focused on South Korea as well as Vietnam. In addition, of course, Thailand and Malaysia, but has been bringing in a lot of huge promising results in both Vietnam and South Korea. Okay, and he's also managing the data center rollout in Ho Chi Minh City. This slide is very important, hopefully, for everybody to understand what exactly is the timeline for what Right Arms has been doing over the years since its inception. So again, it's talking about 2018 Uniswap. That was really the nascence, the spirit of Right Arms was focused on the fact that it was the right project, the right place, the right time, right execution. And then you can see leading into the pandemic, you have, of course, Bored Ape Yacht Club, NFTs, Compound, which is huge, Polygon as well, Shiba Inu, which is a meme token, Axie Infinity, which was very, very big in both Philippines and Vietnam these last few years, and then Decentraland. And then most recently, you see at the bottom here, everything that I've been working on for AOG, the app project, including Rainbow Swap, FB Launch, Tales of Aleco, I've been helping introduce, and then MINERX. The current project we're talking about today is a pretty straightforward Bitcoin play. It's only dealing with Bitcoin itself, Bitcoin mining acceleration, so it's a very straightforward play. Now, in summary from what we just introduced, as you can see in what I was stressing, there's been a huge capital injection these last few years. 10 million is basically a specific carve-out going directly towards MINERX. That was something that was determined and proposed and voted upon earlier this calendar year over many months of deliberation. And the official launch event happened, of course, at the beginning of August. But as you see in this building over here on your right, this is, of course, what we call BTC, or at least the front building is called BTC1. There's another building in the back, and then a third building going to come up on the other side of this 2-acre piece of land called Bitcoin Hotel. It's intended to be a 200-key hotel, which is quite an impressive, large piece of land. So 2 acres of land, $20 million investment thus far, Thai government piece of real estate in addition to other Thai government objectives and sort of real estate endeavors. These buildings represent, you can see there's a coffee shop here, there's classrooms on the second floor, there's our MINERX data center on the third floor, which many people have already visited these last few months. The facility itself where the launch event was hosted is in the back building behind this photo. So Thailand government is a very proactive and enterprising government when it comes to blockchain and crypto. So legislation is very very advanced. It is a thought leader, and my understanding is that all roughly 60+ million Thai citizens are currently receiving an airdrop from the government for the Thai government central bank digital currency, or something quite similar to that. So a lot of people who are Thai citizens have been updating me this. So this is a building, of course, in Phuket. This is data center number 1 of MINERX. As I just mentioned, Vietnam, hopefully other countries are going to be very soon to have hosting MINERX devices very, very shortly. But this launch event on behalf, or in partnership at least with this Thai government backed piece of real estate is something super exciting and a great place for team leaders to have visited these last few weeks that many people are now attesting to, and we're able to take videos, etc. It's really great collaboration and a great place to drink coffee and meet the people there. So hopefully if you guys have an interest to visit here, you guys can get in touch with your right arms team leaders so they can elaborate the terms and conditions for doing the site visits, just so we can have a heads up of hosting the people there on site. Now, as we approach the business part of the presentation, just wanted to make it clear here what is the business model. And the business model, hopefully from this slide, is very clear that it's MINERX is, of course, the accelerator, but the mining farms are a key element. And then thankfully, in the case of MINERX, we have both the BitGood, as you'll see in a follow-up slide. BitGood is in Dallas, Texas, and then there is the Bitmain facility over in Vientiane, Laos, which is a hydroelectric facility, utilities, energy-producing facility, government-backed. Now, so the business model is quite simple. As you see at the bottom, there's Bitcoin, and the Bitcoin, hopefully, that is increased through the accelerator from the mining farmers will be given both to the miners and then paid out as dividends back to the Right Arms Project investors, retail investors. Everybody who's signing up for MINERX will be able to receive their allocation depending on how many contracts they have and how large their sales community has grown to. So we'll get into that in just a moment. But just so you guys can have an idea of what the onboarding process is, hopefully through this call or receiving a referral link, it's very simple. You receive that invitation. You go to your email inbox. You then activate it. You activate your account by signing in to rightarms.io as well. You get your own referral link, and then you're pretty much good to go. You will then be asked to top up your account with 1,000 USDT or 100 USDT, as is the business model for MINERX, as we will also discuss in just a second. And then you can get going. You're also free to have as many in parallel concurrent contracts as you so wish. So you can have multiple 100 USDT contracts or multiple 1,000 USD contracts or a combination of both. So you're not just limited to one email account and one contract. Now, from that, you can see on the right side of your screen that as soon as you start mining, assuming that today you've activated at least one contract, you will be able to see every 24 hours your Bitcoin that is being mined with your MINERX device. You will see the serial number of your unique MINERX, where it is, where it's boosted, all of that great information, in addition to being able to not only take that Bitcoin after a certain amount of days of mining, but you can also swap it back to USDT, or you can off-ramp your Bitcoin and transfer it back to your own wallet at your own exchange or your preferred wallet address for a network fee. Okay. So just wanted to clarify a few things here just to get that out of the way. It says at the top, simply rent. Of course, MINERX is not for retail sale directly. MINERX is not to be purchased by you and then sent in the mail. That's not how it works. It's not to be plugged into your laptop. That's not how it works. And it's not to be plugged into a mining rig itself, a Bitcoin mining rig. That's also not how it works, on site at the same place. It is through the data centers where the MINERX hardware is running, and it is through the software that we will now talk about in just a moment that is running all the calculations remotely. So as long as there's consistent energy and as long as there's consistent, internet, then you're good to go with MINERX. So we understand, looking at the financials of most either listed or private mining operators today, that it costs a minimum 100 million US dollars to even get into the game of mining at scale. So MINERX represents a very good way for both mining firms that are already up and running to increase their revenue and cash flow every day by partnering with MINERX, and then also for the retail investors, like many of you listening to this call, hopefully you understand that because it's quite cost prohibitive and there's been a lot of industry consolidation, MINERX, we believe, represents the absolute best way to start mining right here, right now, in a very sort of bite-sized and appetizing way, not too cost prohibitive for people to just get started right now. Very straightforward business model, we hope, renting with MINERX. Okay. Now, as we just quickly go through these few technical slides, and then we'll transition over to the financials. On the addition side, because this is a powerful addition when it comes to what is the tech, we're talking about quantum bit technology. So it is using the principle of quantum superposition and is allowing multiple operations to be stored and processed simultaneously in different states. So on the right side of your screen, you'll see a single binary state, 0, 1, but hopefully on the left side of your screen, you'll see that there's quantum bit, which will be 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0. So that is the multiple states in parallel. That's how Bitcoin mining is being facilitated and boosted with MINERX. Now, assuming that you've got that great boost, you also need what? You also need to have some efficient subtraction, which is a bit of AI, artificial intelligence, hash filtering. So this is algorithms that are predicting and filtering repetitive hash values, redundant hash values for improved mining efficiency. So if you're calculating at scale and you're having huge calculation efficiencies, you're going to need to make sure that you are not doing a lot of those calculations over and over again. That's what we're talking about here. So we've got hash aggregation, hash filtering, hash strategized optimization technology. So you can see speed improvement is 130% when it comes to actually executing all of these great calculations at scale. And then you get on-chain execution, machine mining. So in summary, what we really are trying to measure here is what you see at the top of your screen, which is the actual effective increase of 10 to 30%. And that's what we're talking about with Bitcoin for both the mining farms and ourselves as retail investors. So yeah, you have AI, big data, quantum computing, historical hash value aggregation, etc. But all these algorithms are increasing mining output. So now, before we get to my favorite slide, just wanted to reiterate one more thing, is that the mining farm collaboration is absolutely integral. If you don't have the mining farms collaborating, it's going to be difficult to really do this at scale. But MINERX is not only for Bitcoin, as you see at the bottom of your screen, but MINERX is certainly for Ethereum Classic, which is still GPUs, proof of work, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, as you see it in the bottom center, which is also Bitmain is a big fan of Bitcoin Cash. So there's many other tokens and currencies, digital assets, Monero Dash, that are also using proof of work. So it's not just Bitcoin farms that could be boosted at scale. There's many other alternatives for MINERX. Okay, now, as we just talked about, hopefully to put the pieces together, this slide is really the ultimate slide to understand the business model. You can see what we've talked about for me, representing the app project in MINERX, which is launched back in August officially. Now you see in the middle what MINERX is bringing to the table when it comes to both hardware and software, all of the great hash filtering, the increased computing power, and then you see in the bottom corner the Bitcoin, the 10 to 30%. That's what we're trying to measure. That's what we're trying to give out. And then you see in this case, in the top corner, top right corner, BitGood over there in Dallas, Texas. They have 4 different sites somewhere around the outskirts of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. There will be site visits that are coming up soon, which we can get to in the Q&A. But you see the 50-50 split. So on the far right of your screen, on the bottom of your screen, you see that 50-50 split. So in this instance, in this example of the collaboration, that 10 to 30% increase in Bitcoin mining that's happening at these farms with the assistance of MINERX is a 50-50 split straight up. And then on the bottom left corner of your screen, you hopefully see that the 50% that's coming back to our side is split how? It's split that 60% is going straight up, 100% purely Bitcoin is 60% of that is able to be pocketed and measured and basically acquired every day for people that have active contracts or multiple active contracts. Having said that, there does need to be a pool of funds to help incentivize country leaders and sales leaders and team leaders. So that community bonus is everybody is basically by signing up for the contract, they are consenting to having a little bit of their daily mining pooled to reward the large team leaders, etc. And then that 10% management fee is actually a little bit to reinvest for research and development, contingencies, continuous software and hardware upgrades. But even some of that management fee is actually going right back to investors as well. Okay. Now, this slide is hopefully the terms and conditions, which is just trying to make it as straightforward and simple as possible. You have 2 options. You have a single contract where you would top up your account for 1,000 USDT. And then you also have the option for a shared contract, which would be 100 USDT. And what we're trying to say here in the middle where it says exit mechanism, we're basically saying 2.9x would be from 1,000 USDT up to 2,900 USDT. Or 100 USDT up to 290 USDT. That's when your contract would come to term, your rental contract. And when it says in parentheses dynamic and static, this slide right here is just talking about pure static daily mining. The dynamic we'll get into in just a moment. And so at the bottom of your screen where it says daily profitability, if you have a single contract, these are the numbers you see here for your daily mining results. So it would be 0.00007, which would be a relatively slow day, and then up to 0.0002. So at current market rates, that would be basically, if you assume that right now Bitcoin's at 65K, that's about 4.5 US, all the way up to maybe 13, 14 US. So if you have 100 USDT contract, and then that daily profitability would be, just add another decimal place, so that'd be 40 cents up to, $1.20, let's say 120 USDT. 1.20 USDT. So because you have topped up your contract via USDT, your Bitcoin will be measured every day, every 24 hours. It will be clocked in, and you will be allocated that daily mining also in terms of USDT. So the spot price every day at midnight, and midnight would be midnight Singapore and Philippines time and China time, Malaysia time, that would be 11 p.m. in most of Southeast Asia, which is Vietnam, Thailand, Indonesia, Cambodia, etc. But then that would be right now in daylight savings time till that would be 9 a.m. in California. That would be 12 noon on the East Coast. I think that would be about 8 p.m. over in Dubai. So that's exactly around planet Earth when every 24 hours when the spot market price of USDT to Bitcoin is registered and taken. So every single MINERX contract at the exact same time every day, they will take that point in time to say, and they will look at the most recent 24 hours of your device, as you see and when you log in or you look on the app, just how well your device or devices have been doing. And then they will look at that current point in time and allocate that contract. So let's say it was $10 today. That's how your contract will be able to slowly, approach forward. But just keep in mind when it says exit mechanism in the middle of the slide, there's an aggregate of 4 ways to get your exit mechanism. And this slide is just talking about the first of the 4 ways, which is simply your static, which is your daily mining. The other 3 ways we'll get into at the very end now. So this slide is just simply reiterating what we just talked about back here. On the bottom left corner, community dividends at 60, 30, 10 is the exact same thing here. So 60% will be straight up to everybody's individual contract, but then there's a little bit of that percent that's held back to reward the community and country leaders, sales leaders, team leaders, and then that management fee. But even as you see at the bottom of your screen, that management fee, most of it's going to people that have been involved with the project for a little while now. So it's really a sales bonus. Now, this slide is a bit confusing. It's really just speaking about BTC. I much would prefer to speak to this slide, which is a better visualization of what most people seem to be asking on all of the calls is when does their contract break even and when does their contract come to term, as we just talked about on that slide. So if you look here in the middle of your screen, you see that the line at 1,000 and the line at 3,000. So if you assume that you were at 100 USDT versus 1,000 USDT, it's the same exact extrapolation here, but just assume that 1,000 is 100 USDT where you break even. And then right before the 3,000 would be your 290 versus 2,900 where your contract comes to term. So your x-axis going from left to right is, of course, the months over time. And then, as we just discussed, your contract break even is your y-axis all the way up to when your contract will come to term. So on the table on your right is really the linear extrapolation, making the assumption that every day at midnight here in Asia or every day at every 24 hours that the spot price is consistent. That certainly will not be the case as Bitcoin changes in price every few seconds, every hour, every day. But you have a better visualization here of if Bitcoin price goes and remains low, assuming right now at 60K, you can see that it's going to be steadily up and to the right. But as we've established, hopefully at the beginning of this presentation with the investment thesis that Bitcoin will really have another bull market rally, it's very easy to make the assumption in the future that Bitcoin price will be at 250K. And in that case, you have to look at the top left corner of this graph here. And on the table, of course, you would look at the Bitcoin price being at 250K or very fast. So you can see, if assuming that Bitcoin is at that price in the future, you can see that your contract's going to be breaking even in about a month and a half. And then your contract's going to come to term in just a few months, as denoted on the dark purple. But at current market prices, of course, as you look at the top of your table at 60K, 70K, your contract's going to break even over many more months, right? More than half a year. And then your contract is going to then come to term after a year plus, pushing almost 2 years at current market rates, assuming that you are only doing daily mining and nothing more. So this is just a linear extrapolation of a static daily mining strategy without all the bonuses we're now going to wrap up with here. So as we conclude here with all of the wonderful numbers, this would be option 2, 3, and 4. So these are the other 3 ways for you guys to have your contract come to term. And this would be coming in, hopefully, as we just told you a few slides ago, you come in with your referral link. You're going to start off as basically a standard member. It will be denoted really as an R0 versus an R1. You're just getting started. But let's say you sign up today and then you sign up with your referral link, your unique referral link, a buddy of yours. You're going to get a referral bonus, a direct referral bonus of 5%. And so that is explicit here on the far left of your screen. Assuming you're just at an R0, let's say you sign up your buddy for 1,000 USDT. That person activates their contract. You will be in receipt of 5% of that direct referral. Okay. Now the matching bonus passive also, if you sign up today and you have one buddy sign up also, you will be in receipt of 5% of their daily passive Bitcoin mining. So as we just established with the numbers, if you have somebody that's mining also a contract, 5% of their 40 cents or 5% of their dollar 1.2 USDT is also significant amounts of pennies every day, nickels and dimes that will add up if you have a direct referral link. And that's, again, just as a standard member, direct referral link ideally. What you are not entitled to, unfortunately, that last bonus is that you have not achieved any sort of hierarchy yet. So if you do intend to really expand your sales community or downline, if you will, you would like to achieve R1. And as you see on the right side of your screen, achieving R1 is not that difficult. We would like to think it's going to take 3 direct referrals, meaning 3 unique individuals are using your direct referral link that you received in your email. When you log in, you can click around and find your referral link very easily. So that would be the first box to check. The second box you would need to check is getting direct sales that eventually total 10K. That's many ways to do that, many sort of combinations to get to that target. And then group sales aggregating 40K. It is indeed just 40K. So it would be 10K plus an additional 30K for you yourself to achieve R1 status. And then from there, so I would just like to show this slide here that's talking about team matching bonuses, which is maybe a little bit complicated. We can get into this. And the same rank bonuses, which may be a little bit complicated, but this slide is hopefully the most simple and straightforward to let you know if you really want to start to get people to sign up below you and achieve R1, you can get that very easily. And then even the people below you, if they are able to also get their signups quite fast, they will also be able to achieve R1. So this is just some numbers extrapolating how fast you can get Bitcoin over how long. And you can see it compounds and gets very hefty as you have people below you also signing up, and the numbers get much more enticing as you graduate up into 3, 4, 5, 6. In the case of Dr. Jeffrey, he's here and he's been mining, I think, nearly 24 Bitcoin in just a few weeks because he has achieved R6. So that brings me back to my final point, hopefully. Two final things here is that as we denoted way back here, let me just take a moment. I think it's worth mentioning way back here in the case of Dr. Jeffrey and a lot of the people that have joined Right Arms. Everybody, of course, is welcome to join today. But this MINERX hopefully will certainly not be the last project for Right Arms. It's going to be just one of many. So Dr. Jeffrey has indeed earned the right to be an R6, as we just denoted. So as we go back to this slide here, talking about R1, R2, R3, R4, R5, R6, once you're locked into R1, you will never be demoted. And once you're locked into R2, you will never be demoted back to R1, et cetera, et cetera. So for MINERX, for the foreseeable future, and then many years in the future, as Right Arms finds other projects and people are incentivized to do that as well, your downline was already in place. You just have to sort of reactivate, right? And then finally, just so you know, one final point as we wrap up this message here is, as you see at the bottom of the slide, it says the bonuses, meaning the referral bonuses you see, the matching bonus, passive daily Bitcoin mining of your buddies, and then the same rank bonus, the active top-up, sign-up, etc. That bonus is not necessarily 100% Bitcoin. It's only 70% Bitcoin because 30% is going to be paid back to you via the Cash Wallet. So when you top up your USDT, you swap it one-to-one to Cash Wallet, and that's how you will be able to activate your contracts. So in the case of Dr. Jeffrey, he has multiple contracts going on right now. And as you see with Dr. Jeffrey way down over here, he has, I think, more, you can count on two hands the amount of contracts he has going, but because he has so many people below him, he needs to have at least minimum one contract active at all times in order to be in receipt and qualify for all of those bonuses coming his way. So he has his contracts coming to term quite fast because, as we made very clear back here, you can see right in the middle, it says exit mechanism. It's not just your static combination, which is the daily mining of your device that's active. It's also the dynamic, and dynamic means three bonuses: your referral bonus, your same rank bonus, your matching bonus, which has been extrapolated and made a little bit clearer here. So with that being said, I think we're going to go ahead and stop the recording. So